Have you ever felt like life is a fierce storm, constantly battering you with challenges that make you doubt your own strength and will? I have. There have been times when I felt like I was drowning in a sea of failure, with no lifeline in sight. Perhaps you've been there too, teetering on the edge, wondering if it's even worth it to keep going. I understand. That feeling is truly terrifying. It makes us want to give up on everything. But hear this, a raw truth that perhaps you haven't heard before. The moments when you're closest to giving up are often the times when you're very close to a breakthrough. It's precisely in those darkest hours that you discover your true nature. Today, I'm going to share something different with you, not the empty platitudes you've heard 1,000 times. These are 7 controversial lessons based on Stoic philosophy that can help you delve deep and find inner strength when you need it most. These aren't easy platitudes. These are hard-to-swallow truths that have the potential to shift your perspective and fortify your resilience. I've applied these principles to my own life, and they've pulled me out of the most difficult times. So if you're ready to confront these raw, unvarnished truths that can help you stand firm when everything around you is collapsing, stay with me. Together, we'll explore these 7 lessons which can change the way you face adversity. Your journey to finding your strength begins now. Lesson 1. Embrace pain as a teacher. The first lesson, one that many often avoid, embrace pain as a teacher. Most people run from pain, but what if enduring it is what makes you stronger? Pain isn't your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. It reveals your limits and shows you where you need to grow. Stoicism teaches us to face pain head-on, understanding that suffering is part of life. It shapes our character. Don't avoid discomfort, use it to strengthen your resolve. I know this sounds counterintuitive. Why should we actively seek pain when life is already hard enough? Why can't we just seek joy and comfort? That's what society usually teaches us. But think about it. Have you ever seen an athlete get stronger by avoiding tough workouts? No. They have to endure muscle pain, that discomfort, to break their own limits. Life is the same way. Pain isn't just physical injury. It could be the pain of loss, disappointment, betrayal, financial difficulties, or simply dissatisfaction with yourself. All of this pain can become invaluable lessons. It forces us to look inward, to confront the dark corners of our soul. I remember once going through a great loss. I felt like the world had collapsed beneath my feet. The pain was like a sharp knife stabbing my heart. I just wanted to escape, to find oblivion in fleeting pleasures. But then I started to wonder, why did this pain come to me? What does it want to teach me? And then I realized that the pain had forced me to confront the fragility of life. It taught me to appreciate what I have. It taught me about love, about forgiveness, and most importantly, it taught me about the strength inside me that I didn't know I had. It stripped away the false layers, showing me my true nature. Suffering is like a mirror. It reflects what we need to change. It pushes us to grow up, to become stronger. It's not the end, it's a new beginning. Think about the people who have overcome terrible adversity. Refugees, survivors of natural disasters, people with serious illnesses. They don't just survive, they become stronger, more resilient. Pain turned them into warriors, heroes. Even in small, everyday experiences, we can find lessons from pain. When we are rejected, when we fail, when we are hurt, we can choose to hide, or we can choose to confront it. We can see those experiences as opportunities to learn, to grow. I used to be very afraid of failure. I always tried to avoid any risk. But then I realized that the failures themselves were the most valuable lessons. Every time I failed, I learned something more about myself, about what I needed to improve. Failure isn't the end. It's a stepping stone for us to go further. A friend of mine, after going through a painful divorce, decided to change her life. She started exercising, learning a new language, and participating in social activities. She didn't run from the pain. She used it as motivation to change herself, and now she's a strong, happy, and successful woman. So don't run from pain. Embrace it, learn from it, let it shape who you become. Pain isn't your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. And remember, the strength you gain from embracing pain is the strength that will carry you through the darkest times. That is the power of resilience. Lesson 2, the power of solitude. The second lesson, the power of solitude. In a world that glorifies constant connection, choosing solitude may seem extreme, but stepping away from the noise allows you to find clarity and strength within yourself. Solitude isn't isolation. It's an opportunity to reconnect with your inner values and purpose. When you feel like giving up, step back and embrace the silence. It may be the most powerful action you can take. There's a profound difference between being alone and feeling lonely. I used to be very afraid of being alone. I thought it was a sign of failure or social rejection. But it was during the most difficult periods of my life, when I felt isolated and detached from the world, that I discovered the true power of being alone. Solitude offers us a unique opportunity to reflect and regenerate ourselves. Without external comments and distractions, you can hear your true thoughts and feelings. It's a space for you to confront your fears, question your assumptions, and rediscover what's truly important to you. We're constantly bombarded with messages that we need to connect, share every moment, and seek acceptance from others. But this can drown out our inner voices. Solitude is an opportunity for you to quiet the external noise and listen to yourself. It's not antisocial. It's about finding balance and inner strength. Some of my life-changing moments came during times when I was alone. When I lost my job, I felt abandoned and lonely. But instead of seeking distractions, I embraced the solitude. I went hiking, kept a journal, and spent time meditating. It was in those moments that I found clarity and a new purpose. Solitude taught me how to be comfortable with myself, to face my fears without the need for others. It's where I made my most important decisions and found the strength to move forward. I learned that my value didn't depend on the opinions of others, but was based on self-understanding and acceptance. Many of the world's greatest thinkers, artists, and leaders have sought solitude as a source of inspiration and strength. They knew that to truly understand themselves and their path, they needed to step away from the crowd. Solitude is not an escape from life. It's a deeper engagement with it. When you feel like giving up, try stepping into solitude. It might seem counterintuitive in a world that prizes constant interaction, but it can be incredibly powerful. Solitude allows you to recharge, find your center again, and become more powerful and focused. Embrace the silence, and you might find the answers you're looking for. Lesson 3. Letting go of goals. The third lesson. Let go of goals. Goals are often considered essential, but they can also become a burden. When your goals start to weigh you down, perhaps it's time to let them go. Instead, focus on the process and the present moment. Stoics believe in embracing the journey, not just the destination. Letting go of rigid expectations will allow you the freedom to adapt and grow without the pressure of achievement. I used to be obsessed with goal setting. I had lists, vision boards, and daily affirmations. I thought that by setting clear and ambitious goals, I could control my destiny. But over time, I realized that my goals were becoming a source of anxiety rather than a source of inspiration. Each time I missed a milestone, I felt like a failure. I was constantly stressed trying to force progress, and when things didn't go according to plan, it shattered my confidence. It was exhausting, and I started to doubt the value of these goals, which were supposed to drive me forward. Here's a raw truth. Goals can become shackles. They can trap you in a cycle of striving and disappointment, especially when they're too rigid and unrealistic. Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control, our actions and attitudes, rather than the outcomes, which are often beyond our control. When I let go of my rigid goals, something amazing happened. I started to live in the present moment and appreciate the journey itself. Instead of being obsessed with the end result, I focused on the process, on doing my best each day, and I found joy in my efforts. This shift in thinking was truly liberating. Letting go of goals doesn't mean abandoning ambition or accepting mediocrity. It means releasing the pressure of specific outcomes and embracing the flow of life. It's about setting intentions and making an effort, but also about being open to where the journey takes you. This flexibility allows you to grow and adapt, making you more resilient and less likely to feel like a failure. One of the deepest lessons I learned is that life is unpredictable. No matter how meticulously we plan, we cannot control everything. By letting go of rigid goals, we become more adaptable and open to unexpected opportunities. We learn to trust the process and ourselves. Since I stopped obsessing over specific goals, I've found more peace and contentment in life. I still have dreams and aspirations, but I'm not bound by a deadline or a specific outcome. I focus on what I can do each day to move forward, and I trust that the journey will take me where I need to be. Some of the most successful and fulfilled people haven't followed a rigid path. They've been open to change, willing to change direction, and found joy in the process rather than just the result. They understood that true success is about growth, learning, and resilience. A friend of mine used to have the goal of becoming a successful lawyer. She spent years studying and working hard, but then she realized that wasn't her true passion. She decided to give up her legal career and become a fashion designer. She faced many difficulties and challenges, but she found joy and fulfillment in her new work. When you feel burdened by your goals, take a step back, let go of the need for specific results, and focus on the journey. Embrace the present moment, give your best effort, and trust that you're exactly where you need to be. Letting go of rigid goals can be the key to unlocking a more fulfilling and resilient life. Lesson 4. Seek challenges, not comfort. The fourth lesson, seek challenges, not comfort. Society teaches us to seek comfort and avoid challenges, but true strength comes from facing adversity, not avoiding it. Intentionally place yourself in challenging situations to build resilience. The more you face difficulties, the stronger you become. The comfort zone is the enemy of growth. Step willingly into the storm, and you'll discover your true potential. From a young age, we're taught to seek comfort. We're told to find a stable job, live in safe neighborhoods, and surround ourselves with like-minded people. Comfort is advertised as the ultimate goal. But what if I told you that comfort is actually a trap, a prison disguised as paradise? I went through a phase in my life where I chose the easy path. I took a stable job that wasn't inspiring, lived in a safe but monotonous routine. I avoided risks, thinking I was smart by protecting myself from failure and discomfort. But deep down, I felt stagnant, like I was just existing rather than truly living. It wasn't until I started embracing challenges that my life began to change. I remember once, I signed up for a marathon even though I wasn't a runner. The training was grueling, and there were days I wanted to give up. But crossing the finish line taught me more about my strength and resilience than any comfort could. Challenges force you to grow. They push you to your limits and then beyond them. When you intentionally seek out difficult situations, you build resilience, courage, and tenacity. You learn how to deal with stress and adversity gracefully. Comfort might keep you safe, but it won't make you strong. Think about the great figures in history. They didn't achieve greatness by staying within their comfort zones. They sought out challenges, took risks, and faced their fears. It was through these hardships and trials that true greatness was forged. They understood that the path to success was rarely smooth or easy, but it was always worth it. When you choose to face challenges, you're choosing growth. You're saying that you're willing to endure discomfort in order to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. It's not about recklessness or seeking pain for its own sake. It's about recognizing that the most valuable experiences often come from the most challenging journeys. One of the biggest challenges I ever faced was starting my own business. It was a leap into the unknown, full of sleepless nights, financial stress, and constant uncertainty. But it was also one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. I learned more about myself, my strengths, and my ability to adapt than anything I could have learned at a comfortable corporate job. A friend of mine, after graduating from college, decided to travel around the world alone. She faced many difficulties, from communication to finding lodging, but she returned with a stronger spirit, a broader perspective on life, and a belief in herself. Stepping into challenges also teaches you resilience. Life is unpredictable, and comfort can make us complacent. When you regularly challenge yourself, you develop a mental fortitude that helps you deal with whatever life throws at you. You become more adaptable, more creative, and more ready to seize opportunities when they come. The comfort zone is the enemy of growth. It keeps you safe, but it also keeps you stagnant. If you want to discover your true potential, you must step outside the familiar and into the unknown. Embrace challenges, seek out adversity, and face your fears. It is in these difficult moments that you will find your greatest strengths and achieve your most significant growth. The next time you are faced with a choice between comfort and challenge, choose the path that pushes you. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Remember that diamonds are formed under pressure, and so is your true potential. Seek challenges, not comfort, and you will discover a strength within yourself that you never knew existed. Lesson 5. Detachment from emotions. The fifth lesson, detachment from emotions. Emotions are natural, but they can also cloud judgment and undermine your resolve. Stoicism encourages emotional detachment. This doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent. It means gaining control over your reactions. By mastering your emotions, you maintain clarity and strength when facing adversity. Detachment isn't apathy, it's self-mastery. I used to be a slave to my emotions. When things didn't go my way, I would get angry, frustrated, or even depressed. My mood was like a roller coaster, dictated by every twist and turn in my life. It wasn't until I discovered the Stoic principle of detachment from emotions that I began to find real peace and strength. Emotions are a natural part of the human experience, but when they control us, they can lead us astray. We make rash decisions in anger, become paralyzed by fear, or sink into despair when faced with setbacks. Stoics taught that, while we cannot control external events, we can control our reactions to them. Detachment from emotions does not mean suppressing them or becoming uncaring. It means acknowledging your emotions, understanding where they're coming from, and then choosing a rational response. It's the ability to maintain composure and equanimity regardless of what life throws your way. I remember one particularly difficult period when my personal life and career seemed to collapse all at once. My initial reaction was panic and letting the stress consume me. But I decided to practice emotional detachment. I started by recognizing my emotions without judgment. I acknowledged my fear, anger, and sadness. Then I took a step back and asked myself, what can I control in this situation? This shift in perspective truly changed everything. Instead of reacting impulsively, I began to respond thoughtfully. I became more focused on finding solutions rather than dwelling on the problem. My clarity and composure not only helped me navigate the crisis, but also inspired those around me. Look at some of the greatest leaders and thinkers in history. They weren't people without emotions. They were people who had mastered their emotions. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and a Stoic philosopher, faced enormous challenges. Yet his writings show that he maintained inner peace through rational detachment. Nelson Mandela spent decades imprisoned without letting bitterness consume him. He emerged as a beacon of hope and reconciliation. A friend of mine, after going through a painful breakup, decided to focus on learning a new skill. She dedicated her time and energy to learning a new language, which helped her overcome her pain and feel more purposeful. Another time, a project I worked on failed miserably. I felt frustrated and angry. But instead of letting my emotions take over, I decided to step back and see what I could learn from the failure. I analyzed my mistakes, and I extracted valuable lessons for future projects. Emotional detachment is a skill that takes practice. It begins with mindfulness, being aware of your emotional triggers and your reactions. When you feel a strong emotion rising, pause and take a breath. Give yourself time to assess the situation rationally. Ask yourself, is this reaction helping me or hindering me? Another powerful technique is cognitive restructuring. Instead of seeing a setback as a disaster, see it as a challenge or an opportunity for growth. This mental shift can change your emotional reaction from despair to determination. Detachment from emotions isn't about detaching from life. It's about engaging with life more fully with a clear and balanced mind. It's about being proactive rather than reactive, resilient rather than fragile. It's about finding strength in calmness and clarity in chaos. When you learn how to master your emotions, you become more resilient. You can handle stress, setbacks, and even tragedy with grace and strength. You become a pillar of stability for yourself and those around you. Detachment from emotions is not about being cold, but rather about achieving emotional intelligence and self-control. Lesson 6. Advocate for yourself. The sixth lesson, advocate for yourself. Don't rely on others to validate your worth or fight for you. Stand up for yourself, even when it makes you uncomfortable. Self-advocacy is about recognizing your value and demanding respect. It's about taking control of your destiny rather than waiting for others to give you opportunities. Be bold, assertive, and don't be afraid to speak up for yourself. I used to be the kind of person who waited for others to recognize my value and give me what I deserved. Whether it was a promotion at work, recognition from friends, or validation from family, I believed that if I just worked hard and kept quiet, good things would come to me. But the truth is, waiting for others to advocate for you often leads to disappointment. Here's a raw truth. No one will fight for you as fiercely as you can fight for yourself. The world is full of noise and distractions, and if you don't assert your value, you're likely to be overlooked or taken for granted. Self-advocacy means recognizing your worth and making sure others recognize it too. There was a defining moment in my career when I realized this. I was passed over for a promotion that I knew I deserved. Instead of quietly accepting it, I decided to take action. I scheduled a meeting with my boss and presented my accomplishments, contributions, and why I believed I was the best candidate for the role. It was stressful, but it worked. I got the promotion because I spoke up and made my case. Self-advocacy isn't just about career advancements. It's also about setting boundaries in your personal life, standing up against unfair treatment, and making sure your needs are met. It's about being assertive in all areas of your life. This does not mean you should be aggressive or disrespectful, but rather clear, confident, and resolute about what you deserve. Many people, especially those who are introverted or conflict-averse, have difficulty advocating for themselves, but it is a skill that can be developed. Start by acknowledging your achievements and strengths. Write them down if needed. Practice speaking up in small ways, whether it's sharing your ideas in a meeting or expressing your needs in a relationship. The more you do it, the more confident you become. Think about the most successful people you admire. They didn't get there by waiting for others to open doors for them. They knocked on the doors themselves, and if they didn't open, they found another way in. They are their own biggest advocates. This is a lesson I have seen countless times in the lives of great leaders, entrepreneurs, and change makers. A friend of mine faced unfair treatment at work. Instead of accepting it, she spoke up and demanded to be treated fairly. Eventually, she received the respect she deserved. One of the most empowering realizations you can have is that you are responsible for your own destiny. This means taking control of your life and not depending on others to push you forward. When you advocate for yourself, you take charge of your narrative. You become the author of your own story, not just a character waiting for something to happen. Each time you stand up for yourself, you reinforce your self-worth and build confidence. You are sending a message to the world and yourself that you deserve respect and opportunities. Self-advocacy also means protecting your mental and emotional health. It's about saying no to things that drain you and yes to things that nurture you. So the next time you find yourself waiting for others to recognize your value or give you what you deserve, remember this: you have the power to advocate for yourself. These lessons may be controversial, but they carry profound wisdom. Before you give up, consider embracing these Stoic principles. Strength doesn't come from avoiding discomfort, it comes from facing it head-on. Be courageous, and remember that the greatest challenges often precede the most important breakthroughs. Lesson 7. Looking back and looking forward. Hopeful background music. Life is a journey filled with ups and downs, peaks and valleys. There will be times when you feel invincible, and there will be times when you feel like you're standing on the edge of despair. It's in these valleys, when you feel like giving up, that the principles of Stoicism can guide you. They remind us that we have an inner strength to endure, to overcome, and to rise again. Think of the many people who have walked this path before us, from ancient Stoics like Seneca and Epictetus to contemporary figures who have faced great hardship. These individuals have shown us that embracing adversity, maintaining integrity, and advocating for oneself are not just philosophical ideals, but practical tools for everyday living. I've been there too. I've faced moments of doubt, times when the weight of the world seemed too heavy to bear. But it's in those moments that I've found strength in these Stoic lessons. They aren't just abstract ideas. They are lifelines that can pull us out of the darkest days and lead us to the light. Every time you choose to endure, every time you decide to push through the pain, you're writing a new chapter in your story, a chapter of resilience, courage, and victory. You're not alone on this journey. We all face our difficulties and challenges, but together we can overcome them. Let these lessons be your compass. I've witnessed many people, after experiencing significant hardship, rise stronger and find a new meaning in life. They didn't let those difficulties define who they were. They used them as opportunities to grow and develop. When you feel like giving up, remember that you have the power to change your story. You have the power to keep going, to fight for your dreams, and to become the best version of yourself. The path ahead may be challenging, but it's also full of incredible possibilities. By embracing the wisdom of the Stoics, you can navigate the ups and downs of life with grace and strength. You can find clarity in chaos, resilience in adversity, and hope in despair. You are stronger than you think, and your journey is far from over. So be courageous, keep moving forward, and embrace the journey. A friend of mine, after surviving a serious illness, told me that it was during those near-death moments that she truly understood the meaning of life. She decided to live each day more fully and bring joy to those around her. The biggest challenges often precede the most important breakthroughs. Remember that you are capable of more than you can imagine. Keep your flame of hope alive and let it guide you through the darkest nights. If you found these lessons helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel for more insightful and inspiring content on Stoic philosophy. Share this video with others who might need a reminder of their own strength. Together, we can build a community of resilience and empowerment. Thank you for watching, and remember, the best is yet to come. So, we've now gone through the 7 challenging yet powerful lessons of Stoicism together. I believe that if you truly understand and apply them to your life, you'll not only overcome difficult times, but also become stronger and more resilient. But remember that these are not magic spells. Strength does not come naturally. You must cultivate it, you must face it, and more importantly, you must believe in yourself. From my own experience and from people I've met, here are a few things I've learned. Patience is key. Change does not happen overnight. Be patient with the process. Trust in your own growth. Action is power. Don't just sit there and wait for things to get better. Take the initiative to make changes. Act to create the life you want. Self-care is a priority. You can't give what you don't have. Prioritize your physical and mental health. Connection is important. No matter how strong you are, you still need people by your side. Build and nurture positive relationships. Always learn and grow. Life is a journey of continuous learning. Always be open to new things and never stop discovering yourself. Now I want you to do something. Write down, on paper or on your phone, a challenge that you're currently trying to overcome. It could be a fear, a difficult goal, or a bad habit you want to change. And then, write down one small action that you will take today to move closer to conquering that challenge. Remember that you don't need to be perfect to start. You only need to start to become perfect. I would love to hear your thoughts about this video. Which lesson resonated with you the most? How have you applied these principles to your life? Or, do you have any questions you'd like to ask? Please share in the comments below. Every comment you make is invaluable and helps us gain new and interesting perspectives. If this video has touched your heart, if you feel these lessons are truly meaningful, help us spread this message to more people. Don't hesitate to click the like button if you enjoyed this video. A like will help the video spread more widely on YouTube. And if you want to continue exploring similar in-depth and inspiring topics, hit the subscribe button to become a part of our community. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any new videos from the channel.